Mia, a young woman in her 20s, and her boyfriend, David, move into an old, secluded house that Mia inherited from her late aunt. The house, located on the outskirts of a small town, is large but dilapidated, with peeling paint and overgrown trees surrounding it. Despite its rundown appearance, Mia is thrilled by the prospect of starting fresh in this new home, while David is more skeptical, worried about the isolation and eerie atmosphere. As they begin to unpack, Mia explores the house and notices strange scratches on some of the walls, but dismisses them as marks left by time. That night, as they settle into bed, faint whispers begin to echo from the walls, barely audible. Mia brushes it off as the house settling, but David, ever the rational one, attributes it to the wind. However, the whispers grow louder, and Mia feels a strange chill in the air. But still, David remains dismissive. The sound of scratching comes from the walls, followed by a sudden bang, making Mia jump. David reassures her, but something about the house feels wrong. The following day, Mia becomes more disturbed by the house's unusual atmosphere. She discovers a sealed door in the basement that she never noticed before. Curiosity piqued, she manages to open the door and finds a hidden room filled with old, decaying furniture and books. Among the items, Mia uncovers a journal written by her aunt, describing a growing sense of unease and paranoia. The journal mentions the whispers, growing increasingly louder and more intrusive, and strange happenings that pushed her aunt to madness. One particularly chilling entry reads, "The whispers are getting louder. They want something. I'm afraid they want me." Terrified, Mia feels the weight of her aunt's warnings, but David, who is still unconvinced, suggests that the journal is just an old family relic with no real significance. Later that night, the whispers return with a vengeance, now clearer and more demanding. They urge Mia to come closer, to unlock the door and release them. The sound of breathing right next to her makes her skin crawl, and she wakes David in a panic. David dismisses her fears as exhaustion from the move, but Mia can't shake the feeling that the house is alive with something dark and ancient. Objects around the house begin to move on their own. Picture frames fall from the walls, doors slam shut without cause, and shadows flicker across the floor. Terrified, Mia goes to the local library the next day in search of answers. The librarian, an older man with a wary look in his eyes, tells her about the house's dark history. It once belonged to a cult in the early 1900s, a group that believed in summoning spirits and dark forces through whispers. The cult's members mysteriously vanished, and rumors of occult rituals persist. The librarian warns Mia that the house is cursed and advises her to leave before it's too late. Determined to find out the truth, Mia decides to confront the entity that is haunting her. She begins having nightmares of dark figures in the house, with one of them standing in the corner of her room, its glowing eyes piercing through the darkness. The figure whispers her name and beckons her into the shadows. Mia, increasingly paranoid, decides to conduct a ritual she finds in her aunt's journal to confront the entity. With David reluctantly helping her, Mia sets up candles and salt in the basement, and together they perform the ritual. As they chant, the house grows colder, and the whispers turn into agonizing, distorted voices. The air feels thick and oppressive, and a shadowy figure begins to form in the corner of the room. The entity growls and lunges at Mia, knocking her to the ground. Desperate, she grabs a metal shard she found in the basement and plunges it into the entity's heart. The figure screams in agony as it starts to disintegrate, disappearing into the walls with a flash of violent light. The house falls silent. The temperature returns to normal, and the whispers stop. The couple believes the entity has been defeated, and for a moment the house seems peaceful again. However, as the morning sun rises and Mia begins to pack, she notices something disturbing. While going through an old family album, she comes across a photo of her aunt, surrounded by people she doesn't recognize. In the photo, there is a man with a familiar face, a man who looks exactly like David. Mia's blood runs cold as she realizes the terrifying truth. The entity had been possessing David all along. She turns around, but David is no longer the same. His eyes are hollow, his smile twisted in a way that is not his own. The house was never truly rid of the curse. It was merely passed on to the next victim. As Mia struggles to comprehend the horror unfolding before her, the house's dark presence wraps around her once again. The whispers return, now inside her mind, urging her to give in to the darkness. Mia screams, but no one can hear her as she's swallowed by the very house she had tried to escape. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.